Good day everyone, we are the group 3 and we're going to discuss chapter 7 which focuses on labor law and management in tourism establishments. This chapter is important because it covers the labor code which is essential for both employers and employees to understand. Employers need to know these laws to avoid legal disputes and employees need to understand their rights to protect themselves from abuse and ensure they receive their benefits. In this chapter, we will discuss the different kinds of employment, the just and authorized causes to justify termination, as well as the procedures in terminating employees and some of the labor standards. Next is the concept of employer-employee relationship. This simply means that in the tourism industry, the relationship between employers and employees is more than just a contract. It involves public interest, meaning labor contracts should serve the common good. For example, if someone is a partner in a business and, and not just an employee, they cannot claim legal dismissal because there's no employer-employee relationship. The fourfold test. To determine if employer-employee relationship exists, we use the fourfold test. First, the selection and engagement of employees. This involves the process and criteria used to select and hire an employee. Second, the payment of wages. This includes the frequency and method of wage payments. Third, the power of dismissal. This looks at the employer's authority to terminate the employee's contract. And last, the task control. This assesses how much control the employer has over the employee's work, tasks, and conduct. Next is the kinds of employment. First, regular employment, permanent positions with continuous work. Second, the casual employment, jobs that are irregular and not permanent. Third, the project employment, employment for the duration of a specific project. Fourth, seasonal employment, jobs that exist only during certain seasons or times of the year. Fifth, fixed period employment, employment for a set duration agreed upon by both parties. 6. Probationary employment, trial period before regular employment is confirmed. To further discuss the different kinds of employment, I will give it to the next reporter.
Who is a regular employee? So, ang regular employee is yung nag-i-engage sa pag-perform ng mga activities or nagbibigay ng service doon sa isang organization or business o sa isang employer regardless doon sa haba ng serbisyong binigay nila. At ito rin yung tinatawag na casual employee na nagbigay ng at least 1 year of service. Whether ito ba ay tuloy-tuloy or pahinto-hinto ayon doon sa trabahong ginagawa niya. At under ng Article 296 of the Labor Code, ang empleyado daw na nag-undergo ng probationary period ay magiging regular na empleyado. Ang probationary period, ayan yung depende sa binibigay na buwan ng empleyado ay ng employer doon sa empleyado na kailangan nilang tapusin. At sa loob ng buwan na yun, i-evaluate sila base dun sa naging performance nila. Kunwari, after 6 months, mareregular ka kapag sa loob ng 6 months na yun, goods yung naging performance mo. So, pagtapos nun, pwede ka nang maregular. At lastly, kung ang isang empleyado daw ay patuloy na nare-rehire, na kumbaga, hinahire pa rin siya ng kanyang employer dahil sa in demand yung kanilang ginagawa at nai-engage siya sa many projects without being interrupted or interruption. Ayun, siya ay regular employee. And if any of the foregoing is present, the employee concerned attains the status of regular employment. Casual employment. Sa casual employment, ito daw yung mga empleyado na nagtatrabaho sa isang business or sa kanilang employer na incidental lang or temporary. or nagwo-work lang sila sa isang employer na yon or sa business na yon dahil peak season or kailangan ng mga tao. Pero wala silang agreement na magiging permanente or magiging regular sila sa trabaho na yon. Pero kapag nga lumagpas or nakapagbigay ka na ng isang taon na serbisyo, kailangan mo ng ma-regular or considered ka na as regular employee. Casual employee may be regularized under ng Article 295 of the Labor Code of the Philippines states that kapag nakapagbigay ka na ng isang taon ng serbisyo, whether ang serbisyo mo ay continuous or broken, kailangan ka na i-consider na regular employee with respect dun sa activity na ibinibigay mo sa trabaho.
Isa sa mga kinds ng employment is yung project employment. Ang project employment, sila yung nakabase lang sa isang project. Kapag ang isang company or kumpanya ay kukuha ng isang tao para magtrabaho, dapat itong tapusin ng mabilis. Ito ay may specific na goal at gagawin na dapat tapusin ng isang tao. Hindi rin sila magtatrabaho sa kumpanya ng matagal dahil may specific itong year or date kung kailan matatapos depende sa pinirmahan na kontrata. For example, nagtayo ng shopping mall ang CCT Construction Corporation sa tulong ni Pedro Puyat. Ang construction ay nagsimula noong 2010 at natapos ito ng 2013. Si Engineer Morris ay tinanggap upang mag-manage ng proyekto sa loob ng 3 taon. Kahit na nagtrabaho siya ng 3 taon, kinoconsider siya as project employee dahil ang trabaho niya ay ang pagkumpleto ng isang proyekto. Kung tatanggapin siya uli para sa isa pang proyekto pagkatapos nito, maaari siyang maging isang regular na empleyado. 2 requirements must be satisfied to remove the engagement from presumption of regular employment. 1. Ang specific na proyekto o gawain kung saan ang empleyado ay tinanggap na magtrabaho, kabilang dito ang anumang particular na gawain, responsibilidad o goal na dapat gampanan ng empleyado bilang bahagi ng kanilang duty sa loob ng isang company. 2. Dapat alam din nila kung kailan matatapos ang isang proyekto kapag nagsimulang magtrabaho ang isang empleyado. Seasonal employment. Ang seasonal employment naman, ito yung pagtatrabaho ng isang tao na tumatagal lang ng maikling panahon. Most seasonal employment is part-time. Kahit na pansamantala lang ang kanilang pagtatrabaho, hindi ito automatic na ginagawang seasonal, kaya pwede pa rin silang maging regular na empleyado. Example, dahil summer at walang pasok, naisipan ni Hira na mag-part-time sa isang catering or banquet stop. Ang trabaho niya ay ang pagsiserve, pero kadalasan all-around siya. Pagkatapos ng summer at may pasok na, hindi na siya magtatrabaho sa susunod ulit na bakasyon. Pwede naman siyang maging regular kung gugustuhin niya, pero para sa kanya dapat pagtuunan ng pansin ang pag-aaral. To exclude the asserted seasonal employee from those classified as regular employees, the employer must show that 1. Dapat ang isang seasonal employee ay dapat gumagawa ng isang trabaho na nangyayari lang sa isang specific na oras ng taon. 2. Siya ay tinatanggap para magtrabaho sa isang buong season.
Fixed-term employment is an employment with a fixed or definite period. Kumbaga, ang isang employee have a contract for a specific period or until the completion of particular project. Seafarers are contractual employees. Seafarers are considered contractual employees. They cannot be considered as regular employees. Under the Article 280 of the Labor Code, their employment is governed by the contracts they sign every time they are rehired, and their employment is terminated when the contract expired. Meaning to say, ang mga seafarers ay tinuturing na contractual employees because their contract are depending when their job are finished, and after the contract, they can renew again for another project. Provisionary employment. There is a provisionary employment where the employee upon his engagement is made to undergo a trial period during which the employer determines his fitness to qualify for regular employment based on reasonable standard made known to him at the time of engagement. The provisionary employment is intended to offer the employer an opportunity to observe the fitness of a provisionary employee while at work and to ascertain whether he will become an efficient and productive employee. Kumbaga, ito yung mga empleyado na sinusuri or ina-evaluate after their fixed term employment if they are qualified to be an regular employee. There have a period of provisionary employment. Generally, the provisionary period of employment is limited until 6 months, but there have an exceptional. First, when the parties to an employment contract agree otherwise, kumbaga if there have any changes in the contract and all of them are agree for that changes, the contract will still ongoing. For example, the owner wants their contract will be on 12 months instead of 6 months, and the employee agree for that contract. This means they will follow the changes in their contracts because all of them are agree for that. Second, when the same is established by company policy. In short, if the policy of the company are 6 months, then your contract will be 6 months only. Third, when the same is required by the nature of work to be performed by the employee. Kumbaga, if the employee is not fully trained, they will stay longer until he can perfectly train. Extension of provisionary period is allowed. The employer and the employee may extend by agreement the provisionary period of employment. Ito ay kung saan ang employer at empleyado ay nagkasundo upang mas lalo pang matukoy ang kanyang kahusayan bago siya gawing regular. There have a termination of provisionary employee. The service of an employee who has been engaged on provisionary basis may be terminated for any of the following. First, a just or an. Second, authorized cause. And third, when he fails to qualify as a regular employee in accordance with reasonable standards prescribed by the employer. Kumbaga, ang isang employee ay may makatarungang dahilan na hindi nakatugon sa pamantayan ng kumpanya para sa kanyang pagiging regular ay maaari pa rin siyang magtrabaho or magpatuloy sa kanyang trabaho.
Termination by the employer just terminating an employee. The reason they are referred to as just causes is that the employee's action conduct inaction that led to a major or several branch of the law. The employment contract, corporate guidelines, collective bargaining agreement, or any other employment agreement are what made the termination of employment justifiable. First is serious misconduct or insubordination. Severe misconduct such as using disrespectful and abusive language, abusing physical force, committing crimes, or purposely undermining a project to harm a company are all considered forms of gross insubordination. Example is when their manager asks them to do something, they respond with cold or derogatory remarks. And the second is gross and habitual neglect by the employee of his duties. For misconduct to be a ground of termination, it must be both serious and persistent. Serious negligence implies lack of caution when carrying out one's responsibilities. Habitual neglect is the term used in the described period of time, depending on the situation in which persons repeatedly fails to fulfill their obligation. And the third is for the willful breach of the employee of the trust responded in him by his employer or duly authorized respective. Employers can terminate an employee's employment or serious misconduct, fraud, or breach of trust as per Article 296 of Labor Code. And the fourth is commission of crime or offense by the employee against the person of his employer or any immediate member of his family or his duly authorized representative, and if an employee commits a crime or offense, their employees may be terminated only if the employer, their immediate family, or their legal appointed representative are the target of the offense forbidden by law or that carries a penalty is considered as crime or offense. And the last is of other causes analogous to the foregoing. Severe misconduct, deliberate disobedience, flagrant and repeated disregard for the obligation from deliberate breach of trust and criminal activity. Serious misconduct. The act of an employee purposely committing a wrong against you or fellow employee is considered a serious misconduct. First is it must be serious. Finding balance in your approach to work is just as important as trying your hardest and treating with the seriousness that is deserved. Being committed, focused, and dedicated to delivering high quality results is what it means to be serious about your work, not to be sorrowful or devoid of joy. The second is must relate to the performance of the employee's duties and a worker's ability to carry out their responsibilities and accomplish their objective is referred to as their employee performance. The third is must show that the employee has become unfit to continue working for the employer. An employee may be considered to have started the dismissal process if they were fired for a valid reason, which suggests that they had broken some rules against the company, according to Labor Code Article 297. An employer may terminate an employee for a valid reason in certain circumstances. Case of serious misconduct. First is employers holding a fight between the two insiders found where they work for and during their duty. Workplace fighting can lead to disciplinary action including termination and physical altercation. Work can result in harsh consequences for employees. The second is employee may be validly dismissed for violation of a reasonable company rule or regulation adopted for the conduct of the company business. Consequently, if an employee disobeys a reasonable company rule or regulation that has been established for the purpose of conducting business, they may be rightfully fired. It is logical to expect an employer to continue hiring someone whose respect for the regulations set forth by his employer has been so clearly and completely exposed. The applicant's continuous neglect for company policy requiring cold, cold call reports, as demonstrated by the 28 instances in which these reports were not submitted, warrants her termination. He cannot be permitted to take the lead in establishing company policy regarding the effectiveness of solicitation techniques. To do otherwise would be to accept oppression and the employee's own end. And the third is an employee who was caught using prohibited drugs within the company premises. Under the section 46 of Rule 10 of the Reverse Rule on Administrative Cases in the Civil Service RRACCS, it is established that using illegal or prohibited drugs is a grave misconduct that is punishable by dismissal at the first offense.
Gross, habitual, and neglect duties. Another zone ito para ma-terminate ang isang employee. Ito ay under ng Article 207 of the Labor Code. May i-apply lamang ito kapag ang performance ng isang employee ay nakadalas na in a period of time at nakakabayaan. Ang halimbawa lang naman ito ay ang employee ay nakalimutan patayin ang gas ng factory at responsibilidad niya iwasan ang sunog at pagsabog. Pangalawa ay habitual, tardiness, or a consistent rate. Pangatlo ay absenteeism or pag-absent na walang valid reason. Fraud or willful breach by the employee of the trust reposed in him or loss of trust and confidence. May-explain ito sa Article 297 ang loss of confidence and trust at ang malulukas nito ay ang employee na nabigyan ng trust ng isang employer about sa delicate matters. Halimbawa nito ay failure to act responsibly, kunwari pinagkasiwalaan ka sa pera o sa company's secret information na dapat ay isano mo o sa'yo lamang at hindi makakalabas. Commission of a crime. Mataterminate lamang ang isang employer kapag nag-commit siya ng crime or offense sa mga sumusunod. Ang una ay pro-employees, pangalawa employer, pangatlo ay immediate family member ng employer. Halimbawa lamang nito ay murder, theft o pagnanakaw o pagkuha ng gamit na hindi iyo. Pangatlo ay assault or physical attack.
Procedural requirements to terminate employment due to just cause. For termination of employment based on just causes as enumerated in Article 297 of the Labor Code. Yung Article 297 po ito po yung procedure na kinakailangan para sa pagtanggal ng trabaho dahil sa sapat na kadahilanan. The first is notice. The employer shall furnish the worker whose employment is sought to be terminated a written notice containing a statement of the causes for termination. Yung notice daw po, kapag nagbigay yung employer ng kasulatan, dapat po ay malinaw at pinapakita yung dahilan kung bakit tatanggalin yung empleyado. Second, answer and hearing. The worker may answer the allegation stated against him in the notice of dismissal within a reasonable period from receipt of such notice 5 days. The employer shall afford the worker ample opportunity to be heard and to defend himself with the assistance of his representative if he so desire. Yung answer and hearing daw po may karapatan yung mga empleyado na sagutin yung allegation patungkol sa kanila. Karaniwan binibigyan lang sila ng 5 araw. Sa panahon na yon, dapat bigyan daw po yung mga empleyado na sapat na pagkakataon para ipagtanggol yung kanilang sarili at marinig yung kanilang panig. May karapatan din yung mga empleyado na kumuha ng assistance para matulungan sila sa kanilang depensa. The third is decision to dismiss. The employer shall immediately notify a worker in writing of a decision to dismiss him, stating clearly the reason thereof. Yung decision to dismiss naman daw po ito yung pagkatapos marinig yung panig ng empleyado, kailangan na pong mag-decide ng employer kung ang pasya ay tanggalin ng empleyado para sa sapat na kadahilanan. At dapat ipaalam ng employer sa empleyado ng formal na paraan o detalyadong paliwanag kung bakit ito tatanggalin. Next is preventive suspension. The employer may place the worker concerned under preventive suspension if his continued employment poses a serious and imminent threat to the life or property of the employer or of his co-workers. Note that this is not a form of punishment. Preventive suspension is imposed during the investigation of the case. The period of preventive suspension shall not be longer than 30 days. Yung preventive suspension daw po, for example, yung co-workers mo ay pinagbabantaan yung buhay mo or kahit anong pagbabanta, pwede mo ito isumbong sa employer. Dito na papasok yung preventive suspension. Ito yung proseso ng investigation kung totoo ba or may mangyayari sa yung masama. At ang preventive suspension daw po ay hindi tumatagal ng 30 days at hindi ito isang punishment. Authorized causes. Article 298 permits the employer to terminate the employee even if the latter did not commit any wrongful act, provided any of the following circumstances are present. Yung Article 298 po daw, ito yung pagtanggal ng mga empleyado kahit hindi naman nagkakasala o anumang maling gawain. First is installation of labor-saving device. For example, sa Jollibee, may mga devices nang pwedeng mag-deliver ng food para sa mga customer. Dito na sila pwedeng magbawas ng mga employee. Second is redundancy. For example, yung mga employee na always late kahit pagsabihan mo may mga valid silang dahilan, isa rin tong resulta na pwede silang tanggalin. Third is retrenchment to prevent losses. Ito yung mga employer na pwede silang magtanggal ng mga empleyado para maiwasan nila yung pagkalugi or pagbagsak sa negosyo nila. Fourth is closure or cessation of business in good faith. For example is yung mga businesses or company is magsasara na. Ito yung mga resulta na tatanggalin na nila yung mga empleyado or mga trabahador. Fifth, in addition, Article 299 provides that an employer will be authorized to terminate the services of an employee found to be suffering from any disease if the employee's continued employment is prohibited by law or is prejudicial to his health or to the health of his fellow employees. Sa Article 299 daw po, ito yung pwede silang magtanggal or tanggalin nila yung mga employee na merong sakit dahil ito'y pinagbabawal sa batas dahil nakakasama ito sa kalusugan or nakakasama sa kapwa nilang empleyado.
Resignation is the voluntary act of an employee who finds himself in a situation where he believes that personal reasons cannot be sacrificed in favor of the exigency of the service. Then he has no other choice but to dissociate himself from his employment. Ang resignation ay ang kusang pagbitiw ng empleyado sa kanyang trabaho dahil sa personal na mga rason. Gaya na lamang ng health-related issues, health concern, or kaya naman ay mga family problems. If the employer forced the employee to resign or when the employer exerted undue influence against the employee in order for the latter to render his resignation, then a case for illegal dismissal may prosper. If ang boss or ang nakatataas sa pwesto sa kanya o sa isang tao ay nagpumilit gumawa ng paraan upang matanggal sa trabaho ang isang empleyado, maaari itong kasuhan o humingi ang empleyado ng tulong sa legal na pamamaraan. An employee may terminate without just cause the employee-employer relationship by serving a written notice on the employer at least 1 month in advance. The employer upon whom no such notice was served may hold the employee liable for damages. Ang isang empleyado na gustong bumitiw sa kanyang pwesto o sa kanyang trabaho ay kailangan magbigay ng resignation letter advance ng 1 buwan sa kanyang pagbitiw. Ang boss ay hindi nabigyan ng notice ng empleyado, maaari nitong pigilan, pansamantalang pigilan at mananagot ang empleyado sa mga pinsala na maaaring mangyari. Employee may put an end to the relationship without serving any notice on the employer for any of the following just causes. Ang isang empleyado ay pwedeng umalis o magbitiw sa kanyang trabaho nang hindi nagbibigay ng resignation letter sa kanyang boss dahil sa mga susunod na dahilan. Serious insult by the employer or his representative on the honor and person of the employee. Insulto sa kanyang pagkatao o pag-insulto ng kanyang boss sa trabahador. Inhumane and unbearable treatment accorded the employee by the employer or his representative. Makatao at hindi katanggap-tanggap na pagtrato ng boss sa kanyang empleyado. Commission of a crime or offense by the employer or his representative against the person of the employee or any of the immediate members of his family. Paglabag sa batas ng isang boss na nakakaapekto sa kanyang empleyado o sa mga kapamilya nito. Other causes analogous to any of the foregoing refers to similar serious and grave violation offenses similar in character and gravity as the other just causes, namely